Mark Morgan, the acting head of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, will now take over Customs and Border Protection. The move comes after acting CBP head John Sanders resigned earlier today. The agency was criticized for unsanitary conditions at a migrant detention facility in Texas, where about 100 children are being held. Our Jeff Pegues asked Mark Morgan about the conditions at border facilities earlier today. And Jeff Pegues joins me now from Washington. He's the CBS News Chief Justice and Homeland Security correspondent. Jeff, remind us of some of the scrutiny that these facilities have faced and what Morgan had to say about them.
Well, no wonder he had to leave our interview rather abruptly. I mean, we had about 20 minutes with him, but then he had to go straight to the White House, and now we know why. He is now taking over more duties within DHS, now running CBP too. But when we were interviewing him for that 20 minutes or so, we pressed him on the conditions at these detention facilities, not only CBP facilities, but also ICE facilities, because there have been IG reports about conditions there. In fact, one IG report earlier this month called conditions in a couple of ICE facilities egregious, and I asked him about that. Take a listen.
I just don't agree that it's egregious conditions like a systemic problem.
What word would you use?
I would say that there are always challenges. I'll give you an example. So this year so far, bookings, we call them, people we've taken in this year, over 400,000. Over 400,000. So we have some facilities we own ourselves and operate ourselves, and others we work with local sheriff's departments throughout the country. So are there issues that we can improve and get better? Absolutely. That's why I welcome the IG. I welcome non-governmental organizations to come in and do a check and balance. We should always try to get better. But to say that it's a systemic, egregious problem across the board, that's just not true, and the facts don't support that.
Well, you know, he made that comment, Alex, even though he hasn't been to an ICE facility yet. He's only been on the job for about 4 weeks, so perhaps he needs a little bit more time. But I asked him, have you been to any of these facilities? And he flatly said no, he hadn't.
So that's telling to me, seeing that we have heard him before blame congressional Democrats for holding up funding that would basically allow the administration to correct any of the situations there. Can you elaborate more on that and what Morgan would like to see given to ICE, other resources?
Well, he would like to see more funding. In fact, the president has said that numerous times as well. That's something that he wants from Congress. In fact, the Democrats in the House are considering an aid package to address not only the surging numbers at the border, but also the conditions within some of these CBP and ICE detention facilities. And so what Morgan is asking for is more funding, but he's also trying to hammer home the point that he says these facilities are not for children, they're for adults, but yet, and I asked him this, you're still sending children there. Take a listen.
We've been asking Congress for a very, very long time. Border Patrol is not a place for the kids. I think every American can agree with that. They are overcrowded. Those Border Patrol stations are not designed for kids.
Does he have a solution? Did he give you anything into that?
Again, what he wants is the funding, and the reality is they do not have the funding that they need. Now, the question is, can you wade through the partisanship in Congress, in both the Senate and the House, to get some sort of solution? We'll just have to see.
All right, Jeff Pegues, thank you so much. And
My
you
pleasure.
can see more of Jeff's interview with Mark Morgan tonight on the CBS Evening News at 10 o'clock Eastern Time here on CBSN.